Okay, so we're going to talk about tabs this time around. Tabs are a great tool for creating multi-column lists that line up really nicely on your page. Sometimes when people use tables to do this, but a table takes a little bit more time to do. The tabs are much easier to set up and use, so that's why I kind of prefer them. Now, I think we're all kind of familiar with tabs in general, where we can go to the beginning of a paragraph, hit the tab key, and it kind of indents it for us just like that. And we kind of use that for like personal letters, things like that. But what we're going to do is we're going to use the tab to set up these multi-columned, multi-lined lists. And it's going to be a lot better to do it this way than I think to just use your space bar and kind of space along with it. I'll show you the differences as we go along here. But what I want to start first of all with is to make sure that we have our ruler turned on, which we do. But if you didn't have it on your machine there, you would just go over here to View, turn on the ruler by just hitting that little checkbox there, and then you get the ruler on the top and along the side there. So now the next thing we're going to do is figure out where we want to put this list. So I'm going to go ahead maybe at the end of this first paragraph, hit the Enter key, and that'll be a good place to put this. Now, the default tabs, the tabs that are in there where you don't have to set them, they're just already there. The tabs are set at about a ½ inch increment. So that means every time you hit the tab key, it goes over a ½ inch. And then, whatever position you're in, you type in your text, and that way, on the next line, you tab that same position, and you're going to exactly line up perfectly. So you're not going to be wobbly looking with your text. So I'm going to type in my first line and then see how that looks, and then we'll go from there. So first person I'll put in will be me. I'll put there Chip Rose. All right. Now when I hit the tab key, it's going to go to the 1-inch tab stop, because like I said, they're ½ inch increments. Now that might be a little bit too close, so what I'm going to do is hit the tab key again, and that'll bring me to about here, and that's where then I can type in something like software training, something like that. And then I'll hit my tab key again, and that hardly went anywhere because we're already at the 3-inch position there. So I'll maybe hit my tab key a couple more times, and I'll type in, okay, and then I'll go ahead and hit the tab key a couple more times, and I'll type in the phone number. All right, something like that. Now, you look at that, and it's like, all right, so maybe we can kind of spread out just a little bit, so we can get a bearing on how we want to do the rest of the lines here. So maybe I'll go to this one here, hit my tab key again, that'll push it over. And then maybe go to this one here, tab it, and then go to here, tab it. That's not too bad. It's not exactly where I'd like it to be. Maybe I can move it over a little bit more. So if I maybe were to take, maybe this one here, tab it, that wouldn't be too bad. But again, it's not perfect. Okay, it isn't giving me the perfect amount of space that I'd like to have. I'm having to give in to just the fact that we've got these ½ inch stops. So I think to myself, well, maybe what I should do is change the default, from being a ½ inch to something smaller. Now to do that, what you do is you go up into the ruler here, anywhere on it, you double click it, and that takes you into this mode here. And then from this point then, what you can do is, because I double clicked there, that's a shortcut to putting in a tab, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to click onto here and tell it to clear it, or I can just hit the clear all, and that would have got rid of all of them. And then what I would do is that I would go in here and I'd change this to whatever number I need it to be. Now in this case, the default initially was set for a ½ inch. Okay, so I'm going to bring this thing down to maybe about, let's say maybe even a 1/10 inch. I mean, that'll be pretty small, but it will give me just as much flexibility as I need to get these things to be a little bit better lined up. All right, so I'll put them at 1 inch or 1/10 of an inch. Hit OK, and there we go. Things kind of move around a little bit, but that's okay. Then what I'll do is I'll start here, maybe tab over a little bit like that, tab over a little bit like that, and then click here and tab over a little bit. It's not too bad. I might maybe bring this back one, bring this one forward a little bit, then maybe back a little bit here, and maybe even bring this one back a little bit, and so on and so forth. I don't know, after a while you kind of go crazy with this, but maybe there, there, and there, right? That doesn't look too bad. It's not, I mean, it doesn't line up exactly on here, but what I could do is maybe go here and do one more here, and then one more there. Oop, too far, so I'll backspace it. That looks about right. So it's not too bad. So we'll go with that look. So then I'll go to the end here, hit the enter key, and I'll put my next name in here. And I'll put another name in here. And then we'll go ahead and tab it a few times here, until it gets right up to where we want it. And we're going to type in something like banking. All right. Tab it a few more times. And maybe we'll type in Chicago. And that's a little bit too much, so we'll go back here. There we go. Look at that, huh? Perfectly lined up. We'll get past it. Oop. Pass it just a little bit there, tab it until we get up to the phone number, and we can type in 312, something like that, right? Not too bad. All right, then we'll hit the enter key one more time, and here we'll put in here something like that, tab it once, maybe one more there. There we go. And we'll put in there, and then tab it a few more times. There we go. And now we're in bolder. There we go. Pretty good. I can go over here and I can fix that spelling, Gemstone's error, and add this to the dictionary. And I'll go over to here, and I will pull this back one, and there we go. And I'll go back here, and I'll make this one. Oh, now when I did that, it kind of pushed things over, so I'm going to go back to Chicago here. And there we go, look at that, huh? And it looks like Boulders is a little bit off too, so I'll bring that back one, and there we go. See, so very easy to kind of fix this just using your tab, using your backspace key, and so forth, and get it just lined up just right for you. And I see this one over here. It's just you're going back and forth with it. There we go. I think we're good. I think. How about this one here? Is that, nope, that one looked like it was okay there. All right, so we're good there. Okay, so now another way we could have done all this was to set our own tabs exactly where we want the tab to be at. Okay, so I'm going to show you a little comparison here. I'll just kind of go down to this next paragraph here. We'll hit the enter key. And now starting at this position, we're going to put our own tabs in. Now, the way this works is you position yourself where you want to start doing your tabs from. All right. And then up at the top here, up at the top left, you're going to see this little marker. Usually that marker displays a like an L, and that L stands for left tab. That's your standard tab. It looks like it's actually not really an L, but it looks like an L, and it just happens to be a left tab. So, take it for what it is. Now, what happens is, depending on the tab that you want, you just keep on clicking this until you get the tab that you need. And I'll explain eventually as we go along here what most of those are. But in this case, we set it for the left tab. Now, on the ruler, you figure out where you want to put your first tab. Now, if you're thinking that maybe it'd be nice to have it just a little bit in from, the margin, what we could do is maybe set the first tab like right here. So all you gotta do is just kind of point right there, click your mouse once, and it goes right in. If you want to move it, you can actually just kind of point to it like this, hold down your mouse. Yeah, it's easy to, when you're clicking there, to actually set another tab, but you got to get right on it. And usually the key is wait for it to say that it's a left tab, and when you see that, then if you hold down the mouse, and you can move the tab to whatever position you want. So maybe I want to bring it back, maybe bring it back one notch to about right there. Okay, so that's going to be our first tab. All right, now the second tab we'll put maybe over here. We'll click it. Our third tab we'll put maybe over here, and the fourth tab we'll put over here. Now it doesn't really matter exactly where you put it. I mean, you can be a little bit off, because later on you can just move them back and forth, as you see fit. And that's the key here, is by having your own tabs, they're floating, so you can actually move them around and get them exactly so that you have exactly the spacing that you want here, see? So now that we've got the 4 in there, what we're going to do now is we're on the line. So I'm going to hit my tab key one time. That's going to move me in just a little bit, right? And this is where I'm going to I'll just type in the same stuff I had here before. So I'll type in chip rows, all right? Now I hit my tab key. That jumps me up to that next tab. So when you put your own tabs in, they erase the existing default tabs are there, okay? And we'll type in software training. I'll try to be as fast as I can, because I know it's kind of boring watching somebody type. Hit the tab again, and here we'll type in Lahaina, just like that. Hit the tab again, and here I'll type in my 808, just like that. Okay, so we're off a little bit, aren't we? All right. So what we're going to do then is we're going to kind of move this stuff around here. So first of all, I'll start with my last one here, this guy right here. And as I drag it, see what happens? It kind of moves it back and forth. So I could actually, if I wanted to, get it just right up against, the margin there, all right? Then I can take the next one that has the city there, move that over like this. And by me moving this, it doesn't move the other one to the right like the other ones at the top did, with the default. So I can do that one about right there. I can then take this one here, and the same thing, move that back and forth just like that, see? Oop. Just right there. And then I think I'll just change my mind and take this tab here and put it right up against the left margin. There we go. Almost on left margin. I think what I'm going to do is I'll kind of pull that over a little bit, move that one there, and then I'll move the indent back. Okay. And that's it. Now what I'll do here is I'll take this, backspace it, and there where I can pull it back there. Then I've got that in there. Now I might be a bit off, eyeball wise, but I might, maybe take this one here, move it back just a hair, take the city here, oop, and drag that one over. By the way, if you are up here and you're clicking, I put a tab in there, just point to it, hold on your mouse, and just pull it off. Just get right on it there and pull it down like that, and you get rid of it. And there we go. So now that we've got that laid out the way we want it to be, now we can go back to the end here, hit the enter key, and put in the next one here, right? And now these are going to be perfect. So now I hit my tab key, boom, one tab, I'm there. I type in my banking loans, tab it, Chicago, oop, tab it, and then just like that, see? And our last one here, we'll put an old Wilma in here. Okay. Oh. And tab it right over there. go. Now, given the fact that Wilma's a little bit long there, what we might do is go up to this one, this tab here, all right? Oh, now I made a mistake there. I didn't mean to do that. I need to move all these tabs, all right? Because I was on this line, it was only moving it on this line. So what I need to do when I go to make changes is select all the tabs. I didn't have to do that initially because I was on just the single line, so I could be anywhere on that line and make the changes. But when you've got them all here, we want to make sure that the tabs for all three lines are moving as well. So now I can go back here and I can take this guy right here and I can move that over like that a little bit. And there we go. Not bad. So when you compare basically our two lists here, obviously similar information and all that, but you can see it's just off just a little bit, between the two, because this is the one that we really wanted. This is the one that we just had to kind of settle for, right? So we get exactly the alignment that we want by doing that. Now, as I was saying before, we have different kinds of tabs, and there's one that's it's a kind of a specialty tab. It's called a bar tab. It allows us to create kind of like a vertical line system through here, kind of bordering it off a little bit or making it kind of look like a table in a way. And the way we would do this is you would select the range here, and we're going to put in some new tabs. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to go back up here to our selector and keep on clicking onto this until it shows that indicator right there. And this is what they call the bar tab. Now what I can do over here is I can point to somewhere around here, hold down my mouse, and drag it. And as I'm dragging it, you can see the bar come into play there, see? So what I can do is I can kind of bring that to about right there, let go, right? And then I can kind of point to over here somewhere, hold down the mouse. That now gives me a bar for there. I can then take this. And you want to kind of stay on the track. I was kind of coming off here as if I wanted to delete it. So I need to kind of stay up there along the ruler there, kind of bring it about like that. And then I can do one more, start about right here, hold on my mouse, drag it, and there we go. Oop. And do about right there, and let go. How about that? Now when you go back and look at this, I'm going to go ahead and select that whole area again. You can then see the bar tabs and the alignment tabs and so forth. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so now I'm going to go and we're going to create another list here, and we're going to introduce a few more of the tabs that we can use. So I'm going to just go on this side here. I'll go to the end here, enter it, and there we go. All right, so we're going to create a little bit of like an inventory list of different animals that we have on hand or a pet store. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of lay out our tabs. They don't have to be, as before, they don't have to be exactly positioned. We just want to kind of get them in there. And what we're going to have is the name of the animal, and then we're going to have some dots that will kind of follow across. They're called dot leaders. You'll see what they are. That's going to be another type of tab stop, all right? And then we're going to have a tab stop for the quantity that we have on hand, and then we're going to have another tab stop that will give us or show us the price, the cost of the animal, and then of course we'll have the retail as well. Okay, so got about 5 different tabs right there. So what we'll do then is we'll go ahead and change our tab selector back to the left alignment. That'll be, there we go. All right. And then I'll just put about right here, and then we'll worry about getting it. Well, here I'll put it here, and here's a good way of getting it right up against. Remember how we had some trouble getting it right in there with the margin? I'll hold down my mouse here, right, and I'll just kind of drag it over like that until I get it exactly lined up right there. Perfect. All right. So that's our. Well, actually, we don't even have to have one there really. because we're going to start typing there anyway. So let's even forget about even doing that. We'll pull that off. Anyway, we'll start out. Our first tab that we'll go up to will be about right here. And that's going to be where we're going to be putting our what we call the dot leader. So what will happen is we'll type in the animal's name, and then when we hit the tab key, we'll get dot, 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 dots up to that point. And we'll probably have to adjust this, but that's where it's going to go. Now, to make that a dot leader, what we have to do is point to the tab, double click it, and that'll take us back into here as we saw before. And we're going to tell it that we want this tab, which is in this case, it's at 2.38 inches. We're going to make this a dot leader. So there it goes right there, see? So you do that, you hit set, all right? And then we hit OK, all right? And you'll see how that comes alive in a little bit there. So now we're going to put another tab in there for the quantity that we have. Now to do that, we're going to use a right alignment tab. And that way, as we type the number, it'll go this way, and it will always be lined up on the right-hand side, see? So I'm going to go over here, click onto that a couple times there, and there's my right alignment. I'll put that one about right here. And then I'll put another right alignment about here. And this will be for the cost, and this is going to be for the retail price on it. So there we go. Now we'll put our first item in, and then we'll have to probably move these things around a little bit, but at least we've got them in there. Okay, so we'll put our first item in here. It's going to be green iguanas. All right, there we go. Now, I hit my tab key. Now watch what happens. Now, this will be our first tab it'll jump up to. Now when we hit the tab, it's going to jump up to that one. Now watch what happens. I tab it, and I get those dot leaders, see? So that's where I want the dots to end at. Then the next tab, this is going to be the quantity that we have on hand. So I'm going to type in 2,000 for 2,000. See how it goes and lines up on or goes out to the left side there, lines up on the right-hand side. All right, we've got 2,000 of them. Next tab, this is going to be the cost of it, and this is going to be, in this case, $39. So I'll just type in $39 just like that. Hit my tab again, and this is going to be the actual retail on it. So we'll type in a dollar symbol, space, and then 97. There we go. All right. So how does that look? Doesn't look, I mean, the text is fine. It's just that the positioning is a little bit off. So we're going to move things around a little bit. So I'm going to take this one here, which is the last one there, move over to about right there. All right. I'm going to take this one here and move that one about right there. And I'm going to take this one here and move that about there. Oop, about there. And then I'm going to have the dots, which are ending there. That's the tab that we have there for it. And I'm going to extend that out a little bit, bring it up about right there. Not too bad. Maybe even go a little bit further with this. Maybe do that and do that there. And then I can take this guy and extend it out a little bit more. And there we go. Makes it easy to follow with the eyes. Now that I've done that, now I'm just on that first line. Now I can go ahead and hit the enter key. And now this new line is going to have the same position or same tabs and same positioning that you see up there, right? It just kind of pulls that down. Now this next one we're going to type in rabid rabbits. All right. Who would want those things, huh? I can't even spell it right, huh? Do a right click on there, and there's rabid. Diseased. All right. We do that, get to the end of it, hit the tab key, puts me right up there. Hit the tab again, and now this is where I'm going to type in. We've got 22 of them. Thank God we only have a few of them. Hit the tab again, all right, and this is going to go for $129, or at least the cost is $129, all right, and then tab it again, and that'll bring us up to the retail, and the retail is going to be $219. Now, what I'm doing is I'm putting space between the dollar symbol and the number. It's up to you. Maybe if that doesn't seem like it looks good, I can get rid of that extra space and do it like that. Or you can just assume that, hey, they should know that's dollars, but we don't want that to get confused with our quantities here. So just leaving it that way is fine. And then we'll go ahead and hit the enter key again. We'll put another one in here. This one's going to be our crazy crabs. Crazy crabs. Tab it, right? And on this one, we've got 1,312 of those. Now, you notice how, because we're using the right alignment tab, it goes out to the right. It gives us a nice little line up here. That looks good. Now, these guys are going to cost us $8, right? And they sell for $39. Like that. A little space in there as well. All right, there we go. And crazy with a K, that's okay. We'll add that to the dictionary. And crabs with a K, we'll add that to the dictionary. Usually what you should do is just tell it to ignore it, all right? But you don't want to add misspelled words, really. Now, another thing you might want to do to make this kind of stand out from the rest of the text is go ahead and maybe select all of these like that. Go back to your Home tab, maybe make them bold, make them stand out, or even maybe go in there and change the color of the text, maybe to a lighter, shade, whatever. Do something like that. And then the other thing, if you want to add those columns in there, at least maybe between these two sets of numbers here, we would just go back and reselect that whole range like that, right? Then we'll go back up here to our tab selector and get that to where we have, in this case, the bar tab. And then what we can do is just kind of point to about right here, hold down the mouse and drag it and get it just about there. Then we go to this one here, hold down the mouse and drag it like that. So there you have it. So we did not have to use a table. All we had to do is just set up our tabs. And as you've seen in all three instances here, very easy to get this going and work just right for you. So, when we look back and you look back at what we did here with the default tabs, that's an okay thing to do. But if you think maybe you'd like to maybe bring in some extra, some unique graphics, such as the bar and the dot leaders, then you might want to go ahead and just set your own tabs. It's not going to take you that much longer, really. And you get some really dynamic effects, and you get it to look exactly the way that you want it to look as far as the alignment goes, right? Okay, now one last thing, this won't take long at all. Let's say that I want to take what we have up here, and I want to sort it by their first name. So I want to rearrange the list to sort it by their first name here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this range like this, right? Go back into the Home tab. Over here we've got the A to Z sort button. Click onto that. Little window pops up. I tell it that I want to sort it by paragraphs. Now what's happening here is each line technically is a paragraph. So I want to do it by paragraph. And it's going to be, and because of that, it's going to sort it on the first character of each of those paragraphs, right? So we got it set for paragraphs. It's going to be text. We go ahead and hit OK. And there it goes. Rearrange them just like that. Now in this next one down below here, I'm going to sort this. Now, the nice thing about setting your own tabs is that it gives you more flexibility for sorting. Up here, I was kind of stuck with only being able to sort by the first column here, the first letter of each of these paragraphs. But because I've got tabs in there that I've set, these are considered to be like field 1, field 2, field 3, and field 4. So you get those areas selected and you say, okay, I want to sort it by, let's say, the town, right? So we don't have a whole lot here, but you still get the idea. You'll select it, you'll go back into Home, go back to your A to Z, right? And here we'll tell it that we want to sort it by our third field. All right, it's a text field. Hit OK, and it rearranges it just like that. That's pretty cool. If you'd rather sort it by, let's say, the position there, you know, what their interest is there, I can go, well, I still have this selected, go back into the sort, and this time tell it what? Well, that's going to be our second field, right? So we'll say field 2, right? Hit OK, and that rearranges those. Now, last but not least, we'll go down to this last one here. We can select this, just like that. And in this case, we'll go back to A to Z. And let's say I want to sort by, let's say this one here, right? So that's going to be the third field, okay? So I do third field, it's a number, hit OK, and it rearranges it just like that. That's pretty cool. Now if I go back in there and tell it that I want to do it by the fourth field, right? It also senses that's a number, right? Hit OK, and it rearranges those, and of course, you guessed it, we tell it the fifth field, the last one here. You have to scroll down for that one. Hit OK, and that's already done. So that works pretty good. All right, so I didn't mean for the video to be that long, but I think this is important stuff. I think it's simple tools. They give us some very cool, very nice, very professional looks here. So I appreciate you watching the video. Take care.